OCO, beautiful people, I hope you all are doing well. I'm Dane Calloway, and I'm back with another episode today. Donald Trump is set to end birthright citizenship on his first day in office. What does this mean for Americans, and who should be concerned? Let's chat about it. I will also open a panel, inviting you to speak with me about this and give your opinions. Leave a like on this thing before we get to it. Let's get it.
OCO, freethinkers. You're now tuned into the realest historian on the planet, the best teacher you wished you had in school. Have your pens and paper handy and get ready to take notes. It's Dane Calloway on I'm Just Here to Make You Think Radio.
Donald Trump revitalized an old plan he had mentioned years ago by announcing that he would implement it on his first day in office. This plan is to end birthright citizenship altogether. So what does this mean? Trump wants to end the constitutional guarantee that anyone born on U.S. soil is automatically a U.S. citizen, even if the parents are in the country illegally. Now, you may believe that this can only affect illegal immigrants, but that's not necessarily true because of the specifics of his plan have not been discussed to the point where you could point out groups of people that he's referring to, other than all Americans and those who are trying to become Americans by law, and those who are here illegally. First of all, if he ends birthright citizenship, what will be implemented to make Americans official U.S. citizens? What about verifiable documents of citizenship? Would birth certificates and social security numbers disappear? And if so, what will replace them? You may think that this is an impossible task to accomplish. Trump previously mentioned this plan during his first presidential campaign back in 2015. And noted that he would implement it on his first day in office. That didn't happen. But back in October of 2018, when he was the 45th president of the US, he brought this plan back up during his midterm rallies to become the president again. This time he changed his plan a little bit. Here's a clip of ABC News on October 30 of 2018.
A week before the midterm elections, President Trump said he could end so-called birthright citizenship with a stroke of his pen.
You can definitely do it with an act of Congress, but now they're saying I can do it just with an executive order.
That would mean overturning a portion of the Constitution's 14th Amendment that says, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States.
We're the only country in the world where a person comes in, has a baby, and the baby is essentially a citizen of the United States for 85 years with all of those benefits. It's ridiculous.
In fact, at least 30 countries guarantee citizenship to people born within their borders, and federal courts have generally ruled the 14th Amendment applies to children born in the U.S. to undocumented parents. Republican House Speaker Paul Ryan said the president cannot change current law by himself.
Well, you obviously cannot do that. You cannot end birthright citizenship with an executive order.
In 2015, Mr. Trump raised the birthright issue on the campaign trail.
The 14th Amendment, I was right on it. You can do something with it, and you can do something fast.
The debate adds to the president's hardline immigration moves in the run-up to the elections, including sending more than 7,000 troops to the southern border in reaction to the Central American migrant caravans making their way north through Mexico. The size of the U.S. force is roughly equal to that fighting ISIS in Iraq and Syria. On Fox News last night, President Trump said migrants seeking asylum in the U.S., whom he called invaders, would be housed in tents while under review.
We're going to put tents up all over the place. We're not going to build structures and spend all of this, hundreds of millions of dollars.
Setting aside the political timing of all this, the number of children born to undocumented migrants peaked 12 years ago at more than 350,000, but declined through 2014. That's according to the latest Pew Research data. If the president signed an executive order ending birthright citizenship, it would face immediate court challenges and might not survive.
Now, that was during his first term as president. And most recently, on May 30 of 2023, under President Biden, he brought this plan back to the public with added rules that he says he would implement on day one as the president.
Joe Biden has launched an illegal foreign invasion of our country, allowing a record number of illegal aliens to storm across our borders. From all over the world they came. Under Biden's current policies, even though these millions of illegal border crossers have entered the country unlawfully, All of their future children will become automatic U.S. citizens. Can you imagine? They'll be eligible for welfare, taxpayer-funded health care, the right to vote, chain migration, and countless other government benefits, many of which will also profit the illegal alien parents. This policy is a reward for breaking the laws of the United States and is obviously a magnet helping draw the flood of illegals across our borders. They come by the millions and millions and millions. They come from mental institutions. They come from jails, prisoners, some of the toughest, meanest people you'll ever see. The United States is among the only countries in the world that says that even if neither parent is a citizen nor even lawfully in the country, their future children are automatic citizens the moment the parents trespass onto our soil. As has been laid out by many scholars, this current policy is based on a historical myth and a willful misinterpretation of the law by the open borders advocates. There aren't that many of them around. It's amazing. Who wants this? Who wants to have prisoners coming into our country? Who wants to have people who are very sick coming into our country? People from mental institutions coming into our country? And come they will. They're coming by the thousands, by the tens of thousands. As part of my plan to secure the border on day one of my new term in office, I will sign an executive order making clear to federal agencies that under the correct interpretation of the law, going forward, the future children of illegal aliens will not receive automatic U.S. citizenship. It's things like this that bring millions of people to our country, and they enter our country illegally. My policy will choke off a major incentive for continued illegal immigration, deter more migrants from coming, and encourage many of the aliens Joe Biden has unlawfully let into our country to go back to their home countries. They must go back. Nobody could afford this. Nobody could do this. And even morally, it's so wrong. My order will also end their unfair practice known as birth tourism, where hundreds of thousands of people from all over the planet squat in hotels for their last few weeks of pregnancy to illegitimately and illegally obtain U.S. citizenship for the child, often to later exploit chain migration to jump the line and get green cards for themselves and their family members. It's a practice that's so horrible and so egregious, but we let it go forward. At least one parent will have to be a citizen or a legal resident in order to qualify. We will secure our borders and we will restore our sovereignty starting on day one. Our country will be great again. Our country will be a country again. We'll have borders. We'll have proper education, and we'll put America first. Thank you.
So now that Trump has won the 2024 election, he mentioned again that he will end birthright citizenship and that this will also include all children of illegal immigrants on his first day in office. Some people would assume that he's only referring to illegal immigrants, but that is just a portion of his plan. You got to let me know in the chat if you caught those hidden messages. I want to hear from you. And if you would like to speak with me on the panel about topics like this, be sure to use the link in the box to the 13% community server on the Discord app. Let's get it.
Okay, my name is Caleb. I'm from Texas, and I just think it's a good step in the right direction. Too many illegals come over here. They get over here just to have children so that their children can become citizens. But, it would be best if, we could get some, we can get some of these so-called legal immigrants to end their citizenship too. But this is just a start. Once we make our demands, I think that things will change, and it'll probably get worse for immigrants because everybody is an immigrant except the original Americans. So it'll probably, this, like I said, this is a step in the right direction. Ain't no telling what's next, what can happen in 4 more years,
Right. I agree with that. And by the way, when you said the immigrants, the illegal immigrants, that's not on the back burner, by the way. I heard that's actually in the forefront as well. I heard that was coming down the pipeline.
Oh, well, let's keep manifesting this shit. Yeah, I don't think it's racist, though. Like, a lot of people, I had somebody questioning me yesterday. saying, how can you be indigenous and you vote for Trump, which I didn't vote, but they saying, how can you support somebody who's telling other Americans, the South Americans and Central Americans, that they can't come over here. But they only coming over here to keep the country alive. They trying to help our enemies, the same people we're trying to get out of position. They want to keep them in position. So that's the problem. They're not coming over here to join us or to fight for the cause. They're coming over here to keep this system alive and live the American dream.
You personally, do you feel as though it's an issue for foreigners that are outside of North America, since we on that conversation, for foreigners outside of North America, whether if they're Central or South, well, mainly let's focus on them, Central and South. Would you feel as though it's a problem that they continuously come over, but everybody else can't?
I mean, yeah, it's a problem that it's just their motives, though. Again, it go back to their motives for me. Okay. You're not coming over here to free the land. You're coming over here to keep the system alive. That is a problem for all. It's not like you coming over here to support us, to lift us up, to spread the truth that we give to you. You're coming over here to make sure we don't get our land. You're trying to replace us. And it's not just the Central and South Americans, it's the Europeans, the ones from Europe, the white ones that's coming over here. That's a problem too. So, but it's unfortunate that they only demonize the Central and South Americans. That is unfortunate. But my statement to them is clean up your land, do your history, like learn. They don't. A lot of them don't like to look into their history. Mm-hmm. They don't care about it. The ones I've talked to, I mean, they say they have this pride, but you sitting here upholding the same system. I mean, we've been colonized by the same people. They're just cousins. So yeah, that's my problem with that. That's my thing on that.
Now, keep in mind, emphasis on children of illegal immigrants. So do you feel as though it's the children's fault, even though they had to follow the parents to come over here, that they should be deported as well?
It's not the children's fault.
Okay.
But the parents should be telling the children the truth. And they should be equipping these children with the truth about what happened in their own lands, so that these children can start having the same conversations we having in North America, but they have them in their own countries. Because they were colonized too, but for some reason they forgot.
Or don't want to accept it.
Right. They have over there, I went to Guatemala. It's a lot of mixed indigenous people down there. And they seem free, but truly they are not. They are not free, because the government pretty much owns everything there.
Yeah.
And even then, it's not a full-blooded indigenous person in office.
Just like here. Yep.
I don't know. I think they struggle with like that, their mixed bloodline. Like, I think part of them is, okay with it as the colonizer blood in them. And then a part of them do want freedom, and that's that indigenous side. Because a lot of them are complacent with, they complacent with the state of their countries. Even though they leave, they don't try to, I mean, maybe they do try to do change, and the government just so corrupt they get killed down there. Like, I had a Cuban man was telling me, and he looked just like us. He was dark. You wouldn't have been able to tell there was
Cubans look like us. They do. Dominicans too.
But he was just saying like how corrupt it is down there, and you can't give money to homeless people. They'll lock you up. You can't speak against the president. They'll kill you.
Wow.
And so I do feel bad in a way, and I do understand why they want to get out of there. And it really.
But is that enough reason for them to bring their issues over here to us? Should that be okay?
Nah. We can't let people bring their issues over here. We can't.
I feel you on that.
We got enough issues happening over here. We trying to free the land over here. We can't inherit your issues, man. We can only equip you with the truth, and you need to go back to where you come from and spread that. Because when the time comes, we gonna need you to stand up too.
Exactly. If anything, so the take is, based off of what you're saying, the whole premise is they need to focus on their homeland. Fix it up. Whatever they got to do, they need to fix it up, learn their history, because if they learned their history, then they realize what happened. Where was the separation? How come these foreigners are in positions of power and the indigenous people are not? How come the majority of their people are mixed? Indigenous with European or indigenous with any other foreigner? What happened? Go back and do that and build up some, or put you guys resources together and do something about it. Now, I also think that some of them will not collaborate in that effort, and they will try to do it individually, meaning they will try to get the money that they're not receiving inside of their countries from here and then send it back to their countries to help their families, though, their individual families. Now, I don't see nothing wrong with that, but at the same time, there is an issue. The underlying issue is the fact that it's only going to the individual families. So, yeah, I mean, that is going in a way that is, self-centered, but overall, how can you reach that goal of you trying to make changes in your own country when you guys are not working together properly? You're not pulling those same resources that you're gaining from this country here to that country there, where they're originally from. I feel as though that's a problem as well. That's an issue amongst themselves, though.
Yeah. Maybe we should reach out to the pure-blooded indigenous people, because they are there. They
Absolutely.
are there too. I wonder what they thinking, I'm curious about what they think about all of this, and do they know their history? Because I've seen a video where there was a man in Guatemala. He ended up dying, but he was the I guess you would say the chief of Livingston in Guatemala, and he knew all the history. He was saying we're not Africans. He knew that we was already here, but he ended up dying. So, I'm curious, what do they have a plan? What is their mindset on this? Are they working toward this? Are they trying to awaken people? Because it's really the same situation that we have here. You have the pure-blooded people who are trying to get this done, and then you have everybody else who is trying to keep it alive.
Right, and that's also infiltration. Like if you really look at it, it's not helping us out. Like they're actually getting in the way purposely, just so they could make ends meet with their own individual families. But at the expense of our families. That's the problem I'm having. That's the problem I'm having. But yeah, anything else you wanted to lead on that part with? As far as the topic is concerned.
Well, I'll say this. These Central and South Americans, y'all need to get into your history, because you all are very behind. You're very behind. We, the North Americans over here, are leading this thing. And maybe you're just gonna have to look at us and be inspired. But y'all need to stop all that colonial holidays y'all got going down, all these weird festivals y'all be having down there. You need to stop that shit, because you holding us back and you holding yourself back. And we extending the hand, but if you want to keep that going on, I'm gonna leave you. I'm gonna keep going, because I went down there, and there's they on certain days they go out and they had this massive celebration, and it's for days too. They got like these huge, JC statues, and he is dark, but they got these JC statues. They go out in the streets and they celebrate, and I'm just looking at it like, you don't know who you are. Because if you knew who you were, you wouldn't be doing that. That's why y'all ain't free, because you stuck in a sunken place. And y'all need to wake up and get into your history, man. Get into your history, because I can't get into every country history as much as I would love to. As much as I would love to know about the indigenous people in South and Central America, I have to focus on here. Y'all need to focus on where y'all at. Stop trying to come over here and fix your own country. Pull y'all resources together. And if you're gonna come over here, just go through the process, man. go through the system. We in it too, and we trying to get out of it. And I'll just leave it at that.
I appreciate that, brother.
Thank you.
So my name is Shay. I am from Minnesota. So my opinion on the children of the illegal immigrants no longer having citizenship, to me, that's wonderful. I feel like they all should have to work for it. My other concern is, who are they considering illegal immigrants? Because a lot of our people still claim that they're African American. And I'm wondering what exactly that illegal immigrant term means according to Mr. Trump.
Now, why would you consider, you personally, why would you consider African American an illegal immigrant?
Well, they already took us off of our land, so I just wouldn't put it past them.
You thinking that a person that labels themselves as African American has no land to go home to? They're just in limbo.
Right, so there's no birthright there.
Okay.
There's no birthright there because by paperwork or anything else, really, we can't prove that we're from Africa. Everything ties to here, but they're erasing that.
Wait a minute, say that one more time, sister, just in case. Just one more time.
I said, by paperwork or anything else, we can't prove that we're from Africa, but we can prove that we're from here, but they're erasing that. They're getting rid of all of it. So earlier this week, I was just looking for my great-grandmother's birth certificate. She was born in 1906 out in Pittsburgh, and all I can find on her is her marriage license, and somebody wrote on the side of it, they wrote colored on it. So 1906 is before the Racial Integrity Act, which means colored wasn't even in use back then.
It wasn't in play.
So, like I said, they're erasing.
You said that wasn't a census record neither. That was a marriage certificate.
Nope, a marriage certificate.
Interesting.
So, yeah, they're erasing our ties here. So where does that leave us? That's my concern with that.
And we all know the reason why she said us is because they labeled us African Americans. They labeled us Black Americans. She got a point. Hope y'all paying attention.
And then the other thing is, technically, Trump and everybody that looks like him is an illegal immigrant. So for him to stamp that label on other people,
what gives him the right?
Making sure their children are no longer citizens, it's a little bit of an issue with that. You know,
because isn't his wife an immigrant?
That too.
You know what I'm saying? She's speaking with an accent every time I see her.
Yep. So I don't know. I pay attention to what people say, and yeah, I need more clarity on what that means on paper and verbally. But that's just me.
I'm glad you pointing out those concerns. You good, sister. I appreciate that. That was good.
All right. What up?
I'm just here to make you think.
Slow down. Yeah. Sub up, light up.